Well, good morning, everybody. Here it is, a new year. I can't believe it. I never thought I was going to live to 2000. I remember thinking, you'll never get to celebrate the millennial. You'll be too old. It's funny how when we're young, we think we're old, and when we're old, we wish we were back there where we thought we were old. Whatever, it's a big circle. So, this is my first video, so don't expect too much, but I've been really wanting to do this because of all the help that I got from others that were doing this. I was kind of at my wit's end because I'm such a political junkie. I have been for about 30 years, and I've also been reading cards for over 40 years. And I had kind of been reading cards for myself before I found the readers on YouTube, and I thought, oh, this is great. They just settled me down so much and made me feel so much better that I kind of wanted to do it, but didn't think I was capable. And then my guide Rennick has been coaxing me to do this, and just kept telling me, coming in, talking to me in my sleep, and telling me he'd help me with this. So I thought, well, it just doesn't cost anything but my time. So if I can just help a few people, like everyone's helped me, that would be wonderful. And it'd just be maybe kind of fun to have a new project. So I was meditating today to try to figure out what to read on, because that's another problem for me, because I go on and listen to all the readers and they're so quick to cover every subject, and I think usually about 80% of what they say is what I would be saying. So I think, well, I don't want to bore people with repetition like crazy, and what could I do for my first reading? So what I thought about, I always do a very deep meditation on New Year's Day. I save the day mostly for meditation and contemplation, and to look back to see what I could do to maybe be a better person. And I came up, this is what my guide told me, and I know it's not profound because I've heard the same thing put in so many different ways, but I got up and wrote it down, and it said, people on a round planet should not build fences or walls. They should build bridges of hope, love, and gratitude. And I know that sounds like something from a religious science notebook or a unity, but at the same time, it's just kind of beautiful. And so I thought, well, write it down, and it made me feel good, and hopefully some people, whatever, in power could start thinking that way. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Like the 100th monkey, maybe if a few of us feel that way, pretty soon all of us will feel that way. But I came up with the weirdest stuff to read on, and do you know what? I'm going to do it. And one of them, the first one, what does Putin have in store for Trump to do in 2019? Are they planning a war / coup? I know that sounds almost conspiratorial, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, never have been. But I've had this little scratch in the back of my neck about the way Trump's been dismantling everything since he went in. It all looks like it's just an accident for attention and power, that he's just going around with a wrecking ball, hitting the world here and there and everywhere else, like it's like a power play, and of course he likes the attention constantly. But the things he's tearing up, I don't really think that he's smart enough to figure out how each one of these that he's tore apart, I don't think he's done it. I think he's got help. I think he's got guidance, and I think there's a plan behind this. And I know it sounds silly, but this keeps gnawing at me. So I thought, well, go ahead and read on it, see what comes up. And another thing, there was 3 things. The second one, will Trump pull our troops out of South Korea? Because right now, that's what Putin's wanting to do. That's what China's wanting to do. Um, anyway, let's read the cards and see what comes up on it. And the other one was, I think I might have already mentioned it, giving people permission to carry the guns, our military guns, down on the border in Mexico, by Mexico. Now, he really pushed that through quick, and that's something that's never been allowed before. And so does that fit in some way with what maybe him and Putin's up to? So anyway, let's get going on this and let's read on it and see. So let's get started on this. Make sure it's going there. Okay, it's going. Don't know too much about this, you can tell. Especially anything electronics, just like fire in my hands. And if there's a way to break it, I'll break it. Or mess it up, or whatever. So anyway, the first thing we're going to read on is, what's Putin and Trump got planned for the world for 2019? And we're sure that he's the one pulling the strings here. So let's see what they're trying. Doesn't mean they're going to get away with it, but let's see see if we can come up with some of the stuff. Diabolical plans here and what took place at that meeting in Helsinki that we'll never know. And so let's see. Was it something to do with this? Or not? Well, it looks like some of the things they talked about was seeing what they could do to stall this Miller investigation. I wasn't expecting that to come up, but it looks like they're trying to turn him, get him stalled. Turn my cards around here. I've got them upside down. Ooh. There's some bad stuff going on right now. They've really got some bad plans. Ten of Swords here. To see how much chaos they can cause. But there's a little bit of chaos that's started against them here, and I think that was probably the Democrats winning the House. Because something's come in, standing in the way of their plans. Because they thought this was going to be a pretty smooth whatever they're working on all together. And Putin's going to make Trump an offer that even Trump's not going to like. But he's not going to have too much to do with it. Because he's not the one in control. And it looks like there's also some Republicans in the Senate, maybe in the House before the election, that might be more in on this than just the money. I thought they were backing Trump up and letting him get away with all this stuff is because they all had money from Russia too, and they were afraid of going to jail. But they might even be a little into maybe knowing a little bit about what's going on between Trump and Putin and what the plans are, and maybe they're helping, actually. That's horrible to even think that. But it doesn't look like anything that they were really hacking up there is going to get going too far, because it just doesn't look like Trump's going to be in power. There's just too many investigations, like there's 17 of them out there. There's too much going on around him. No matter how much he says, look over here, this is on fire, this is blowing up, I don't know if it's going to work for him, because he's in too much trouble and he's in really deep. And what's going to hold him up from just going through with this plan, whatever it was, is the strength of the House at this time. Because they weren't expecting that. When these plans were originally hatched, they weren't planning on the Dems coming in and taking over the House like they did. At least not with all the power, not with 40 people. They might have been expecting a few wins, but this has really put a clink in their plan, because they weren't expecting it. And there is going to be a lot of judgment coming down before very long, too. In the near future about this. Some of this stuff's going to be coming out in the open. I think what's going to come out in the open the most and shock people is the fact of how many people in the Senate and the people, some in the Congress, that were kind of in on this stuff from the beginning, where it's not just like an accident, not like they were planning before the election, but in the first year and stuff, as they found out stuff, they just kind of got in line. They just moved over and got in line. And they felt pretty safe. But now they feel like they're just under all kinds of pressure. Just all these lawsuits, all these investigations opened up, and there's going to be a lot of indictments coming, and that's just right away. And it's all, everything they thought they had going, they don't. They're going to have to change. They're going to have to do a reversal on it. Now, I don't know if they thought they were going to, I don't know what they thought they were going to do. Let's see. Yeah, I hate to keep bringing up Nancy Pelosi because everybody else does, but it looks like her coming in as Speaker of the House has just really put a curve in this. They really had a plan. They had some kind of a plan laid out to come in and take power, change rules, get rid of our democracy. But something with the House and their big win has really got them where they have to change their plans. And that made Putin have to change his plans. He was definitely in some kind of a coup with Trump. They had plans to come in and take some things over, or Trump was just going to sit back and ignore it while Putin came in and took over the North Sea and everything else, and not even say a word. But by the Dems coming in and taking over the House, it's just really thrown a clink in what their plans were. And then here you've got all these subpoenas going to be flying here anytime. So things are really, really changing from what this plan was, even though it wasn't said It was set up not too long ago. It's really put a bind on Putin and Trump's relationship. This Lover's card is over here in the past. Trump's feeling like the hanged man. He's feeling like he's just in well, he is in la land. He always has been, just like the Mad Hatter. But he's really feeling like he's got his hands tied, his arms tied, and people watching him all around him, and he can't make moves, he can't do anything he wants to do. And what he needs to do is calm down, but he's not going to calm down. He's not going to calm down. He's just going to get more stupid as he goes along and make stupider moves. For the future, we got a lot to do. A lot more than just coming in and trying to restore order. There's so much stuff that needs to be put back together, and there's so much stuff that needs to be stopped, and it's not going to be easy. That's a hard battle. That's a hard battle. I don't know for sure where it's going to be the hardest at. There's a lot of talks going on behind people's backs. A lot of people plotting. But also a lot of people working together. Somebody's going to come in and straighten this all out. I don't know if it'd be our new Democrat running for office for the presidency or what, but it looks like somebody's going to come in and straighten this out. Bury the past and start anew. Now, that doesn't seem like that made a whole lot of sense to me, but it never does when I'm reading. So I want to put these away and read on. Will Trump try to take our troops out of South Korea? Is he going to really try to pull this off? Nothing like being nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. There's nobody there now. I can just erase this when I get through with it if it's too silly. But what's going on? Is he really going to have the cojones to try to pull this off and get our troops out of South Korea? I don't think it's going to do him any good because Mueller's right on his butt. I don't think he's going to have time to. And the Wheel of Fortune is changing and changing quick. So no, he's not going to be able to do that. Even if that was part of the plan, he's not going to be able to do that. And he's feeling very, very frozen. Feeling like he can't just keep doing all this stuff one after the other. I don't know why, but he knows that he can't just keep doing this. He knows they're watching him, and he knows that people are standing around paying attention with him and what's going on overseas. He knows they found so much dark money so deep that they can't even get down far enough. And they're also finding out a lot of money coming in that they, from like the Mercers and that kind of stuff, that they didn't even realize was coming in, because it's coming in from so many different directions. And Trump's biggest challenge at the present time is trying to figure out how in the hell he's going to get out of office and keep any of his money. He can see the writing on the wall, even as dense as he is. And he's trying to figure out how in the world he's going to get out of office and keep any of that money. But he still thinks he can do a balancing act. Thinks he can do a balancing act and pull some of this off. He still thinks he's pulling wool over people's eyes. In the past, he thought he had all this stuff hidden, but Mueller's shining a light on it. On the dark money, really deep dark money, from places all over the world. There's been some really dangerous stuff going on, but it looks like it's going to have the light shined on it. It's going to be coming out in the open. This is why somebody's not sleeping in the White House. It might have something to do with sniffing Adderall, but it also has a lot to do because things are just not going like he planned. And the sword of truth is going to come out of this. The truth is going to come out of this. So I don't know if that was even on the right subject, but that's what came out in the cards. And I'm just going to do a little quick three card spread to see what was going on at the border. What was that at the border? I still just can't believe it was so necessary for them, they thought, to, you know what? I don't usually have that much trouble with cards. Let's just pull these. Maybe I have the wrong cards. What's going on at the border? What is it that's been going on at the border? I know part of it's just trying to gin up his base, but what's going on there? That's not all. Just the fact that he had the rules changed where they could carry guns. Definitely a thought out plot. It just didn't come out of the blue. It was thought out. And I think Mattis knew that. I think that's why he was so against it and fighting against it. And I think that's what started the main breaking point between Mattis and Trump. Was because he didn't want that pushed through, and Trump just pushed it on through anyway. And when it comes out what all this was about, what was behind this, and it will come out what was behind that particular move, it might end up having some jail time for somebody, because the truth is definitely coming out. And it wasn't because of good mercy. There's Mueller. He knows there's some kind of plot going on here behind all this. So there was more behind this. than just a fluke of a madman's imagination running around. There was a plan behind it. And of course it involved money too. And it could have been something to do with the more chaos you can get going at the border, the more money that they can filter through their friends to put in those tent cities to put children in jail. Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Here comes Mueller. They still, about 80% of the Republicans think they're not in any trouble. And that they're going to get out of this. But the challenge is truth coming through. And there's no way they're going to be able to balance this. Hopefully there'll be some stuff reversed. A lot of the stuff and plans that were made, all the planning and all the scheming to tear our democracy apart, hopefully they'll be able to reverse a lot of this and change things, a lot of it back like they were. Or even I think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get better. And I'm going to do something that I always did for my readers for 40 years. I know timelines are horrible, especially when it comes to tarot or anything when you're dealing with spirit, because there's no time for real. It's just here with our sun rising and setting every day. And I'm just going to take a sneak peek here and see how this investigation is going to be going for the next year. Just really quick. This is just for fun. Just really quick. Quick. This is for January, February, and March. Whoa, just money draining out. Even money that we thought as a country that was going to be there with this new tax plan setting in and the tariffs and everything else. It looks like we're just going to, no matter how hard we try as a nation, we're just going to keep going under when it comes to the money for the next 3 months. That's what you're going to hear the most about, especially since the Democrats are in the House. The Republicans are going to start screaming about spending. When they start screaming about it, all this is going to come to the top, just how much money's being drained out since all these rules and laws have been changed. But there is a judgment coming down on this, and people are going to start paying attention to what's really going on. And for some reason, the second I turned that card up, I thought about people starting to pay attention to the real news. It was like, we're going to talk about the real news now. Everybody's going to quit listening to about 80% of this propaganda and start paying attention to what's really going on, because now they're getting scared enough that they're paying attention. And that's going to be a challenge to the GOP when people start listening to the truth. It's raining outside. This is Southern California. So people are going to start paying attention. Truth is going to come down like a vengeance. January, February, March is going to be very hard. money-wise, and we're going to see everything going and nothing coming in. And then the next 3 months is going to be all about subpoenas, justice, things that we just did not believe. People are going to start paying attention to what's really going on. That would be in April, May, and June. A lot of stuff are coming out and getting exposed. All kinds of stuff's coming out and getting exposed in April, May, and June. And July, August, and September, we're going to have truth coming forward. A lot of truth that we, things that we didn't even imagine. We couldn't even comprehend with our wildest dreams some of the stuff that's been going on. But it's going to get exposed and it's going to get brought out into the open. And in October, November, and December of this next year, there's going to be a lot of people that if they're not in jail, they're on their way to jail, or they're talking deals to get out of jail, because it's going to be like right in the middle of these people actually getting caught and going and the truth coming out. So we're going to have a big drain on our money, and it brought to people's attention. People realizing that the news media has been telling the truth as close as they could tell it. They still hype it. I don't want to even go there. Judgment's coming through, and people are going to jail. Oh, it sounds like a fun year. Well, thank you. I hope I didn't bore you.